All right, my people, you are welcome again. Today, let's take a look at this simple question. Okay, yeah, we are asked to prove that root 3 is not rational. Okay, we are asked to prove that root 3 is not a rational number. And I'm very sure you are familiar with what we mean by rational numbers. Okay, please, if you are not getting it clearly, we have a video on formation of number system. You can watch that to get some things more clearer. Okay, now let's go. Let's take a look at this. We are to prove that root 3 is not rational. In mathematics, when we want to prove any theorem, okay, we have about, let's just say, three major ways we can prove. Number one is by direct proving. Number two is proof by contradiction. And then number three is proof by mathematical induction. Okay, and in this question or in this video, we are going to prove this problem using contradiction or proof by contradiction. Okay, and when we are talking about proof by contradiction, we are going to make a statement or initial claim or initial assumption and then continue, and then at the end of the day our final conclusion or our observation is going to be different or is going to contradict our initial claim. So if we succeed in getting a clear contradiction to what we claimed initially, to what we assumed initially, or from what we stated initially, so we conclude that by contradiction we have proven that such statement is true or false. Okay, now without wasting much time, let us dive into this question to see exactly what we mean. Please, I want you to listen attentively. Okay, it's very simple and I'm going to try my possible best to explain it in such a way that you are going to understand. Okay, now the question says that we are to prove that root 3 is not rational. Okay, now first of all, we are going to assume that this root 3 is a rational number. Okay, we are going to assume that it can be written as a rational number, meaning that it could be written or it can be written as a fraction in its simplest form. Okay, when we mean that a number is rational, that is to say it could be written as a fraction that is in its simplest form. Okay, now look at this. We mean that this root 3 could be written as a fraction of a all over b, where a and b are integers with no common factors other than 1. That is to say that a and b are not having or is not having any common factor and is not divisible by any number except 1. Okay, now let me give you an example to show you what we mean by having common factors. Do you see this number 1 all over 3 or 1 all over 4 or 2 all over 5? Okay, you see these numbers, they are in its simplest form. These numbers, these fractions, they are not having any common factor except 1. And these fractions, they are not divisible by any other number except by 1. Are you cleared? Do you understand? Now let's go. Now let me show you the fraction that is not in its lowest form or that is having a common fraction or a common factor. Do you see this number 3 all over 6? Do you see another number 4 all over 6? Do you see this number 4 all over 12? Okay, yes. Now you can see here that 3 all over 6 can be divided by what? By 3, or it's having 3 as a common factor. Now again, 4 all over 6 is also having what? A common factor 2. Then 4 all over 12 is also having a common factor what? 4. Okay, good. So what we are claiming here, or our assumption here, is that this root 3 can be written as a all over b, where a all over b is not having any common factor or is not divisible by any other number. A cannot be divided by any number, and b cannot be divisible or cannot be divided by another same number. Do you get what I'm saying? A and b are not divisible by any other number except 1. So that is our claim. Are we together? And then also that b is not equal to 0, because if b is equal to 0, that is to say is what? Undefined. It's undefined. Okay, now let's go. Look at what we are saying. We say root 3 can be written as a fraction. Okay, a all over b, where a all over b is in its simplest form without having any common factor or is not divisible by any number. Okay, good. Now here, from here, let's square both sides. When we square both sides, this is what we're going to have. Okay, from here, in our left hand side, the square or the power 2, we remove the square root inside. Okay, and then the a all over b having in bracket squared, the square will be distributed to a and b. So we are going to have 3 is equal to a squared all over b squared. From here, we can easily cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, we are going to have 3b squared is equal to a squared. 3b squared is equal to a squared. Now please pay attention to what we are going to do again now. We are going to have an observation 1. And what? Observation 1. What do we observe here? But before I give you this observation, let me show you something. When we have p is equal to 3x, please pay attention and understand what I'm going to explain now. When we say that p is equal to 3x, for whatsoever being the value of x, okay? Now, when you bring the value of x now, maybe you call it any number and then multiply it by 3. That is to say, is the same as p, right? Yes. Now let's go. Let's assume that x can, or x is 10. You know, x can assume any value, right? Good. You can use any one and try it on your own. But here, let's use 10. X is equal to 10. So when you say 10 times 3, it's going to give you 30, right? That is to say that p is 30, or that 30 is p. So in place of p, you can write what? 30. Is that true? Good. Now, telling you that p is divisible by what? By 3. Hello. Now, you have p is equal to 3x. Are we together? Yes. For any value of x, okay, x can assume any value. If you like, put 1 million, anything you like, let it assume the value of what? X. That is to say that p is divisible by what? By 3. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now look at it. Let me explain again. P is equal to 3x. 3x. Because of that 3 here, because of this 3 you can see, it's telling you that the whole right hand side is the same as left hand side, right? Good. So when you fix a value for x, we said for instance x is equal to 10. Now 10 multiplied by 3 is 30, right? Telling you that p is equal to 30. Now as p is equal to 30, you can see clearly that this 30 is divisible by what? By 3. That means if 30 is divisible by 3, it's also telling you that p is also divisible by what? By 3, because p is 30. 30 is divisible by 3, and then p is also divisible by what? By 3. Are we together? Good. Now, again, p is equal to 30, telling you that this 30 is also a multiple of 3. Multiple of 3 meaning 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 into 10 will give you what? 30. That is to say 30 is multiples of 3. So also p is a multiple of 3. Are we together? So now when you have something like p is equal to 3x, from this place now, you can see that P is a multiple of what? Of 3. Or you can see that, or you can say that P can be divided by what? By 3. Or you say that P is divisible by what? By 3. We cite an example. Use any value again. Try what I just said. For x being any value, multiply by 3. You will see that that value will be divisible by what? By 3. Whatsoever value it is, you will see that it is multiples of 3. So if the right hand side is divisible by 3 and it is multiples of 3, so also the left hand side, which is P, is also divisible by 3 and multiples of what? Of 3. Now let's go. With this thing I just explained now, let's go to what we have. We have 3b squared is equal to a squared. First observation, for whatsoever be the value of b squared, you can see that a squared is multiples of 3. Hello? You can see that a squared is what? Multiples of 3, or that a squared can be divided, or a squared is divisible by what? By 3. That is the first observation. Okay? The first observation, we say that a squared is a multiple of 3, or that a squared is divisible by what? By 3. You see what I just explained using P is equal to 3x. For any value being x, you can say 3, you can say 30, you can say 3, you can whatsoever it is. So when you multiply by 3, whatsoever number it is, it must be divisible by 3, and it's also a multiple of what? Of 3. Now, if that number there is divisible by 3 and multiple of 3, that is to say that the left hand side, which is P, is also multiple of 3 and divisible by 3. Now, we also come to this 3b squared is equal to a squared. Then a squared is multiples of 3 and a squared is divisible by 3. Okay, good. Now, if a squared is multiple of 3, so also a must be a multiple of 3. Are we together? Good. Now let's go. Since a is a multiple of 3, let's say a is equal to 3m. A is equal to what? 3m, multiple of 3. Right? Good. In this equation 2, okay, where we have 3b squared is equal to a squared, in place of a squared, we can write 3m because it's a multiple of 3. Okay, good. That means we're going to have 3b squared is equal to 3m in bracket squared. Okay, good. So here, let's open this bracket. We're going to have 3b squared is equal to 3 squared m squared. Okay, 3 squared is 9. So here we have 3b squared is equal to 9m squared. When you divide both sides by 3, we are going to see that b squared is equal to 3m squared. Is equal to what? 3m squared. Good. Again, let's have another observation. Observation 2. Observation 2, we can see here again that b squared is a multiple of 3, or is divisible by 3. So also b is a multiple of 3. You see what we said in our first observation, that a squared is a multiple of 3. Is also the same thing here. B squared is also a multiple of what? Of 3. So that is observation 1 and observation 2. So from observation 1 and observation 2, we can see that it contradicts our initial claim. What was our initial claim? Our initial claim was that square root of 3 can be written as a all over b, where a all over b is not having any common factor, or is not divisible by any number. And then we see from our observation 1 that a is divisible by 3, or that is multiple of 3. And then observation 2 shows us that b rather is a multiple of 3, and that is also divisible by 3. You see, our initial claim said that it's not having any common factor. Observation 1 and observation 2 is telling us that a and b is having a common factor 3, or that is divisible by a number, what? 3. So from here, we see that root 3 is not rational from the observation 1 and observation 2. where we say that it can be written as a fraction in its simplest form where a and b has no common factor or that is not divisible by any number. And then in observation 1 and observation 2, we see that a and b is having common factor 3 or is divisible by a certain number 3. So from here we see that it contradicts our initial claim. Since our assumption lead to a contradiction, we can conclude that root 3 cannot be rational. Thus, we say that root 3 is an irrational number. Are we together? Yes. Hence the proof. So we have proven that root 3 is not rational. Are we together? Alright, please, thank you for watching. Please, if you are new to our YouTube channel, do well to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alright? Yes, let's go. Stay blessed. Let's see more questions.